so new. It actually hasn't even been written yet. And I don't want to give too much away, although it, it probably won't get written, so then what's there to give away to begin with, right? And that's kind of the question. So that's this poem which needs a title. And it really needs it. I mean, every poem needs a title, I guess. But then any regular anthology poem, it's sort of like, it's entitled to a title, but this one is explicit about its needs. It's desperate, right? It's an embodied need. And I suppose every poem is a need. It's like it's a squeeze, right? People talk about condensation in graduate school or something, but it's not condensation. It's just that the need is so bad. The need is so deep, right? So, the squeeze. The question is, what is being squeezed? I mean, what do you want to have squeezed? Well, I mean, is it like a handshake kind of a squeeze? Like, thanks for coming, I hope you had a nice time kind of a squeeze? Or is it like a squeeze of the elbow? Like I'm squeezing John's elbow, like hold me up here. There's a Russian proverb, like a cow on the ice skates, right? So, when you're describing someone's elegance, right, you said that, oh, like the cow on the ice skates. So the cow on the ice skates needs to squeeze somebody's elbow, right? So is it that kind of a squeeze? Or, what I think I'm really getting to is that what's being squeezed in a poem is a fruit. What kind of fruit? The fruit. You all know. Intuitively know. The fruit. And the question is, the fruit that's being squeezed, who gets to drink the juice? Is it the audience in the course of the performance, right? The poet squeezes the fruit, and there it is in the cup, right? There it is. Or is it a lot worse than that? Is it that the poet, sitting at home alone in his lone room, and in his loneliness was squeezing the fruit, doesn't sound right, the fruit of the poem, and has enjoyed the fruit of the poem, and has brought to you the squeezed fruit, whatever is left over of it, right? The pith. It's a pithy poem. That's all that's left of it, the pith, right? And there's still something to taste. You can interpret the pith, what may have been. Could even write an essay about it, an anthology of essays about the pith of the poem that has been squeezed, and the poet has drank the juice. And I suppose that is the trouble with poetry. Or art that gets created alone, in loneliness, in seclusion. How do you give the audience the fruit, the juice? How do you give the fruit without biting into it first, without touching it? And that is the question of this poem, which hasn't even been written, and I don't want to give it away. Although we're 2/3 into it, but that's part of the problem. How do you give the fruit without biting it? How do you express the need without expressing it? The poem needs a title. Of course, a poet is a title. An artist is a title. My wife at dinner parties, after a few drinks, sometimes she says, well, Jake, my husband, he's a poet. And I feel very uncomfortable. Like, what do you do with that? Next. The poet went to Trader Joe's to get some feta cheese. Right? But what if it was the poem? The poem went to Trader Joe's. The poem needs a title. What kind of a title? Like a one-word title, autumn, or, a little more expansively, autumn leaves? Or something classic? The road not taken. Which is very generous, you know, that's 3 words already, right? And of course, in this case, it's not the road not taken, it's the poem that doesn't get taken, poem that doesn't even get touched. And the road is a key metaphor here. And I thought this ride here to Walnut Creek would take me 2 hours. I budgeted 2 hours. I got here in an hour. It was really fast. It happens much faster than one could have anticipated. And the road is this perfect metaphor for everything. Because the first time I was thinking about this poem, I conceived of this poem, I was driving a very different kind of a road. I was going to Santa Cruz. And a very windy path. There's always fear of crashing the cow on the ice skates, but like actually in my car for real. And then that's when that poem was circulating through me. The poem that needed a title. The poem had that need. And I understood that I will never remember this poem. That every time this poem shows up, it's going to be very, very different. Thank you so much.